All right, let's take this live. Before I kick this off, I'll start with a little tech geek out. I've been working on the office setup here. I recently got I got a new machine a couple months back. You all probably remember that if you've tuned into the stream for any length of time. I was running with a Surface Pro 2, and the Surface Pro 2 just didn't quite hack it when I was streaming. Volume's a little low. Thank you for that. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Give me just a moment. Sometimes Windows likes to turn the sound down. Which one is it? It likes to turn the sound down on me. Base property, there it is. Let's try that. We'll bump that up to 100%. And then I've got a setting back here on the back if I fill this out right. Let me know. Let me check OBS. Hang on. OBS, I think, is set right. It's probably my system volume that's low. OBS is showing me at the proper volume. So you may want to... I'll adjust that a little bit, but I don't want to blow folks out if it is something on your end. All right, let's try that. Let me know if that's too loud now. I don't want to deafen anybody there. So that tweak should do it. And then, awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for fixing that up for me. As I was saying with the tech setup here, that alone is from switching from all these different profiles and stuff. That tends to happen as well. The machine likes to jump to like different sound devices depending on what its mood is in for the day. So some days it will pick up my VR headset and decide that is the sound input and output, and that's weird. So it likes to do weird stuff, but I've got this new machine, and I recently got a standing desk, and then of course the green screen and all that good stuff. But when I got the standing desk, I started messing around with different layouts for my screens and stuff, and I came upon this little tip online. Let's see if I can find this again. There was this article that I read because I was actually looking for this, and if you type like a Google search, use a laptop as a second monitor. So I've got the Surface Book laying around, and it's doing nothing because I'm not traveling at the moment, and I've got this nice desktop set up, but I wanted a monitor and I couldn't quite place it where I wanted it. And I was like, I got the Surface Book. Can I use the Surface Book as a second screen? And I found this is it really easy with Windows. You just go over to your sharing tab. You do connect, and then you can connect to another computer and just use its monitor. You can project to it. And you can also use it as an input, which is really nice because now I've got a Surface Book like right here on my desk. And I'll try to like swap over. I'm a hardware geek, so I'm gonna see if I can have this camera down here for a second so I can geek out to this thing because this is so cool. I love it. Let's see, where's my other view at? So I'm gonna try this just straight up camera output here, and yeah, that'll work. It's kind of weird hollow mirrors effect, but whatever. The point is, I want to look down, and then. Oh, my green screen's causing some weird stuff here, but you can see right above my keyboard I have a 45-degree angle Surface tablet, and I can actually like do touch screen on it, and I can switch between my chat room and OBS and all that fun stuff just by doing touchscreen. And this is actually linked to my computer, and it's acting as a second monitor, so I can drag windows down there and all sorts of stuff. So it's like a two-way device for me now. It's kind of like having an extra Stream Deck, if you will. but it's instead of a Stream Deck with buttons, it's a Stream Deck with giant touchscreen capabilities and a nice big screen that I can put my chat room on and monitor your questions as they come in, and it's really handy so far. I like it. Yeah, it's like a mega Stream Deck, Evan. Melandu? Voice meter, I need to check voice meter out again. I tried voice meter one time, and it didn't work with my setup very well for some reason. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I couldn't quite get it working, but I do need to check it out again. I heard it's really good for managing a virtual soundboard. Now that I have a soundboard like device that I can use with this tablet on my desk, I might give that a second shot. Then I can, I could actually touch interface with that and level things up and down as I need it. So that's a good suggestion. I'll have to check that out again. But I'm loving this setup so far. I was doing some. Let me pull this up off screen real quick. I was doing some Microsoft Flight Simulator as well with it, and I'll show you what that looked like. Let's see. I think it's in my Google Photos here. Oh, hang on. I gotta log in, so I don't want to do this on camera, just in case something private gets shared. But I took a snapshot of it because there we go. I'll pull that up on the screen. So this is a better view of the setup than trying to point my camera at it. But this second monitor here is a Surface Book Pro, and you can see I've got the avionics down here from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then I can focus now on like a full screen window. And this is a little bit cooler because if you look, let's see if I can zoom this again. Zoom it. There we go. Should be able to zoom it. There we go. Now I have like this full windshield here, and where the avionics panel would be in the VR view, it's actually in my real peripherals here. So I can just kind of glance down, and I can see if I'm level and where I'm gonna crash, or as most people would try to land. But yeah, this is not Blazor. I know it's not Blazor. Let's get into some Blazor. You're right. No, this is fun. I liked electronics and hardware and all that good stuff. So let's see. All right. So from my cockpit here, let's get into some Visual Studio. Maybe I'll stream some Microsoft Flight Simulator sometime. It's a pretty cool game that I won't rage quit on and embarrass myself. So maybe I'll do a little stream of that sometime if all of the streaming equipment can handle it. I think it can. It should be able to. All right. Got Visual Studio 2019 here. This actually should be preview. It doesn't say preview, but it is preview. You can tell by the icon down at the bottom. So today what I'm going to do is ASP.NET Preview 8 came out just the other day. I'll go to the announcement page and I'll share that because that's a good way. My chair is giving me elf ears because of my dark hair, I bet. That's awesome. I should do these standing up sometime now that I have a standing desk. I'm still getting used to the whole like standing and working thing, and I'm a bit clumsy yet, so maybe if I'm standing that chair would go away. But the preview is out. August 25th it dropped, so I guess that was last week. So I'm about a week behind on this news, but I've been busy, and I wanted to kind of catch up on some other stuff last week before I get started with this. So I finally installed Visual Studio Preview again to check out the .NET 5 bits because they are coming next month. Full release should be in November. It's all been announced. None of that's NDA or anything. It's all out there. So what do we have? First of all, it tells you how to install everything. And then there's actually a Blazor related post here. This is the wrong one. I gave you the wrong post, guys. Dan's got a post out as well. Let's see if this is the right one. This is the one I meant to get into here. So this is Preview 8. So I installed the preview version of .NET, our Visual Studio. And if you don't have it, the easiest way to grab it is to type in your search bar Visual Studio. And you'll see the Visual Studio installer. If you have, you of course have to have at least one version of Visual Studio installed to get that. But you'll have this Visual Studio installer. And then if you click on it and you click available, you'll see preview in that list. And I haven't installed, so it's not there. But in the available tab, it'll look just like this, and you hit install, and it goes ahead and installs the whole thing. And yeah, this has Melindu. This has the new Razor editor, and then it the Blazor stuff has all of this new bits as well. So the thing I want to focus on, I think, today is CSS isolation. I don't know if we'll be able to demonstrate lazy loading, but we'll give it a look. The globalization support, we'll scroll down and look at that. There's not a lot I can do with that today. Maybe we'll check out the new input radio buttons, set focus. This is one I really want to dive into, is the influence of the HTML head through Blazor apps, which is going to be super helpful and eliminate a lot of redundant JavaScript code that I keep writing. Control Blazor component instantiation. That is something I don't quite understand what the need for it is, but we can look at that. Browser storage. That's a nice one. Model binding and validation with C#9 record types. Maybe if there's samples provided, we'll look into that as well. But what's great here is it's coming soon, so it's time to check it out. And there's going to be performance improvements and things that come with .NET 5 that weren't mentioned here, and I think that'll be a big deal for all of us. CSS isolation. We'll get into that at the top of the demos here. Again, none of this is planned. I'm just going to wing it, see what we can come up with. There's lazy loading information. So basically what you can do is tell Blazor when to load certain assemblies. This is really helpful if you have a really big application and you want to kind of offload some of the DLLs that come across the wire. This part on globalization, I think it's just supporting a new file format. I need to ask some of the .NET folks here if what this actually means for us as Blazor developers, because it says that it reintroduces globalization support for Blazor WebAssembly based on the international components for Unicode. Part of the introduction is logic optimizing these payloads and download size. Not fully complete yet, but they want to reduce the size of ICU data in .NET 5 preview updates. So there's the RESX resource files in .NET that normally handle this. There's also a Unicode format for that. I'm trying to remember what it is, if it's just .icu or what. But this is what I believe Angular and React are using. So I don't know if they're just trying to make sure they have compatibility with that. So if you have these ICU files already developed, you can just use them in Blazor and they'll be nice and fast. Or if they're removing the resource file support, I don't know if that, it just says reintroduces. I don't know what that means. Reintroduces. I don't know if it means they removed anything or if they're just adding to it. So I'll have to clarify that one. It's not very clear by what's written here, what exactly this does. In my opinion, I think they're just adding a new file format and optimizing for it. That's my take on it. New input radio button. So there's input radio group components. These are super handy. This is something we had to do very manually before. And now we have a new input group. I wonder if this came out of the what do you call it? The sprint that they had. The open source sprint they had a couple weeks ago. And thanks for the new follow. Zetawap. Appreciate that. Let me check something really fast because I didn't hear the follow come through. So let me make sure I don't have my alerts turned off, because I did have them turned off at one point because there was like a gift sub, what's it called? Yeah, I had my alerts turned off. Somebody came in and spammed a bunch of gift subs, which I totally appreciate, but it causes like a million alerts to go off, and it's very loud, and it distracts like from the entire show when it happens. So I'll pause those from time to time. But now I should be able to hear if somebody drops an alert, follows, subscribes, whatnot. And Palin, I think I may have missed that as well. It says 18 minutes ago, subscribe 2 months, tier 1. Very much appreciate that as well. Again, I had those alerts turned off, so I didn't hear it come in, so apologize I didn't get that right away. But thanks for the resub. Much appreciated. Very much appreciated. All right. So now that housekeeping is done, we'll get back to all the new stuff. UI focus. This is another one of those JavaScript things people were writing all the time. Just to set focus, there was no way to do that without writing some custom JavaScript code. Thanks for the follow, Shandu16. Much appreciated. So they added a async focus async method to element references, so that'll be very handy. This feature and like a lot of the other stuff that you're going to see in here, like this influencing the head of the Blazor applications, they have this new intern working on Blazor doing a fantastic job. I told Daniel when they were doing the .NET stand-up in the chat, I said, man, you hit the intern lottery. This gentleman was putting all kinds of nice features in that we're looking for. So we can influence the head of Blazor apps with title, link, and other metadata. This is all SEO-friendly stuff. Yeah, they've got an intern on the .NET team that's killing it right now. Yeah, at Microsoft on the .NET team. He's working with Steve Sanderson and Steve Sanderson and Daniel Roth's team. So I missed this one. Blazor component instantiation, and this is a community contribution to the project. I guess this is similar to if you wanted to create like a custom controller implementation for like an MVC application. This is similar, I think, in that regard, where you can control the life cycle of all the components in your app through an interface. I don't know the details of it. I'm just kind of assuming what it is based on the information I have here, which is just a one-line sentence. But I think that's what that is. I don't see any links to documentation. There's just a link to this person's GitHub. So I'm not sure. Not sure where that feature lies or if there's any documentation on it yet. I'm sure there's like an issue I could look up and find it there. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can dig in and see that. So if I go to GitHub, ASP, is it ASP.NET Core? Is that the right? No, that's not the right URL. Is it .NET? Yeah, .NET. So if we go to .NET ASP.NET Core, and let's try this. We'll go to File, and we will look for, what is it called? Component Activator. Let's just see what the interface looks like. We'll dig into some source code. Why not? Create instance of type is component type. That's very basic, but I'm sure it has a lot of impact on how those components are instantiated. So if we look up the issue or pull request, let's see if we can find something in issues for it. Looks like there's a couple issues, and these are open ones. Here we go. So there was a tight coupling around the built-in iService provider, which makes it hard to hook into a pipeline similar to iController Activator. Wow, I've never read this before, and just based on the interface, I immediately went to iController Activator and thought of that. So it does look like it is down that alley. And yeah, this controls that instantiation life cycle, so you can do some custom things in that when you need to. So it looks like it's blocking people from using third-party DI systems with Razor components. So that looks like the reason for it. And Eagle says this will help allow, or should allow, B-Unit to mock components during testing. So this is a very important thing. It looks like a community contribution has fixed it. It's showing this issue, or a side issue is closed. I don't know why this main issue is open. Maybe just for documentation purposes until .NET 5 rolls out. So I don't know why the issue's still here, but we'll see if that gets closed when .NET 5 ships. And it looks like Mr. Magoo's opened another, or was that the one I was just on? No, this is, yeah, so Mr. Magoo is looking for this as well. Big community contributor there, and it looks like it solves quite a bit of problems. So, good stuff. That's going to be in .NET 5. We'll take a look at this in a sample here in a few. And we'll look at protected storage as well. Model binding with validation and C# record types. This is something I'm a big fan of. I'm going to have to test that out as well. I like the C# 9 record types. They're very functional programming related. I like that. Input ASP4 model name. Oh, is this on Blazor or is it on... it doesn't say Blazor. With MVC and Razor page. Doesn't say Razor components. So I'm curious if that'll work. We'll try it and see what it does. If it blows up, then it blows up. All right. Don't know what that exactly is. Something with customizing MVC controller action routes. Not going to get into that. We may look at the auto refresh to see how well this works. Console logger, not going to dig into that too much. I think it just gives you JSON outputs for your console. And then I didn't mean to click on good old Danos's profile, but I did. All right, so let's go back to the top and let's play around with some of this stuff. I've got Visual Studio Preview up and running. Let's create a project. I'm going to choose Blazor app. We'll hit next. This is going to be preview bits, so I know what this is. Hit create. This is going to be the important part here. I've got .NET Core 3.1. I want to drop this down and hit .NET 5. And there's where we'll find the latest bits. If you're new to all of this, this is only on preview. You're not going to see this if you don't have preview. You also will not see this if you do not have the .NET framework, .NET Core, or actually just .NET 5, I guess. The .NET 5 bits installed. You will not see that. So if you don't see the dropdown, you're missing two things. You're missing either Visual Studio Preview or Visuals or .NET 5 preview bits. So you have to install the SDK as well as the IDE. You'll get both of those installed. You should see that drop-down box. We'll hit a Blazor web app. I'm going to choose core hosted just because I like that situation the best. And then notice down here we can verify that we're on the latest template. And we're going to get the latest bits with that template. So we'll create that as well. And I'm really looking forward to this shipping in November because there's some really good speed improvements in this. Let me dig in here. I'll show you really quick if I can find this image this screen capture I took of what I'm looking forward to. Don't know if I have it handy here though. Yeah, I do. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Thanks, Windows. I don't know what that was all about. It's supposed to be an image. It's just popping up a black box. There we go. Last time nothing came up. That was weird. So this is what I'm looking forward to with .NET 5. So if we look at the difference between 3.0 and .NET 5, WebAssembly performance 3x versus 5.0 is CPU intensive code about 30% faster. So they switched to a new base class library with Core FX now. So that's the reason that we're getting faster, just general optimization. JSON serialization is now 2 times faster. Again, due to the new base class library and JSON optimizations in the interpreter. So this is huge. So if you're passing off, say, a huge data set to a data grid, there's going to be a major performance increase there. Component rendering is 2 to 4 times faster. Again, they're attributing that to the base class library and some optimizations they made in both the interpreter and Blazor framework. So good stuff there. Lots of good stuff. We're getting more performance for free, basically just for switching from 3 to 5, .NET 3 to 5. There's some more examples in here. Let's see if I can find those references too. I can't seem to find the screen grab for that one. There's very component specific examples they gave. Let's try one more time with this. Nah, I don't have it anymore. It's odd that I lost that screenshot and I have the other. I must have drag and dropped it somewhere by accident or something. You'll have to take my word for it. There are more optimizations to come with data grids and those type of things. So yes, so question is, oh hey, Stephen Kramer's back, just dropping in to say hello, doing some Blazor. Everything is going well with the community, Steven. Thanks for dropping in. Melindu, is 5.0 replacing or combining all of .NET Core, Standard, etc.? So in .NET 5, you will see the exit of full framework. So the .NET framework is going to go away. .NET Core is going to be the mainstay. We are going to see, I think Mono is going to merge into Core. So everything is just going to be .NET. So what was .NET Framework is now, quote me, legacy. So that's legacy code. It's going to be 4.8 is it. It's frozen there in eternity. And then we're going to have all of .NET Core is .NET, and that includes Mono kind of crammed in there too, and replacing the Mono runtime with the CoreFX base class library, I think. So it's all combined. It's all one thing now. It's going to make stuff a lot easier. Hopefully the versioning and all that starts clearing things up. And I saw some Pluralsight authors kind of venting the other day. They get a lot of gripes from people that don't understand .NET Standard versus what .NET Framework is being used. So they see a course title of like getting started with something .NET 3.2, and then you start doing the courseware and you say something about using .NET Standard 2.1 and people freak out and they're like, oh, this is old content. No, that's not how it works. But anyway, I feel bad for those authors that have to deal with those questions. All right, so I've got a new .NET 5 project up. I don't think they're changing anything with the template. It looks about the same to me. I don't see literally any change here whatsoever. So it's all going to be just new features, not anything new in the template. Let's give it a run. Let's see what we got. The template itself, I don't have any issue with, so I think keeping it the same. I probably should have left that open. I didn't mean to close that. Let me get that back. History. Yeah, get that guy back there. All right, so we still have our counter. We still have our fetch data. Nothing's changed. It looks about the same. The only thing I can complain about is I don't like the gradient. That's nitpicking at its finest. So let's see here. We've got the same pages, same shared, same server it looks like, and so on. I wonder, all right, so starting to get curious here. If I go to my index page, I want to try to modify the head of this application from the index page and see if I can do that. So if I'm on this page or that page, my title is always preview bits. So let's see if we can do something with that. So what I'd want to do is, where is that section? Okay, influence the head of a document in a Blazor app. So we can do title, link, and meta components programmatically and dynamically with the link and meta tags and so on. Add a package reference to Microsoft Core ASP.NET Components Web Extensions. So they put this in its own library. Let's see here, dependencies, manage the NuGet packages, and we will add, let's browse. I copied that. ASP.NET Core Components Web.Extensions, and we'll hit install. So this should light up the new surface. I wonder if they'll merge this in or if it's going to stay as an extension or what it's going to do. Curious Drive, no, I didn't put presentation mode in today because this is already another instance of Visual Studio. So what presentation mode does is it creates yet another instance of Visual Studio. So I've got my standard Visual Studio, I have presentation mode, Visual Studio, and then I would have to install the plugin, and then it creates yet another one. So I was trying to cut down on that. I think I'm only going to be on this for a month anyway. So because the bits release in November and I should be able to go back. I'm not even using my theme or anything yet. So I don't plan on spending too much time in preview. We've got our index page. We've got our extensions installed. Include a script reference to. Oh, so we're actually shipping some JavaScript with the framework now. That's interesting. This is something we haven't done before. We do have some JavaScript references in here, but not kind of as a library. So more of a core framework thing. So if I go to my main layout, nope, sorry, not main layout. It is in my index HTML. You'll see I have framework and I have some JavaScript, but this is the first time we're adding a third or external package with JavaScript from Microsoft. So we'll add that. Headmanager.js is in there. And then we have to use the using directive. So in our index page, and I would probably just drop this in my imports.razor. So we want this using statement right here. So that pulls in the library for us to use on our page. And then the following example sets blah, blah, blah. Now this is, when is this going to happen? That's not documented here. When to actually do this is not documented. I'm going to take a stab at this and make a guess. And I'm going to say in our code block, we should probably, oh, that's lovely. It's already throwing errors at me for typing a code block. Yeah, I didn't expect anything magical, Eagle. I just figured it would be rolled into the main code base. So I figured it would exist in Blazor WebAssembly JS instead of being in another JS file. It's not abstracted away as much as I thought it would be. While none of this is magic, it's mostly JS. It's the abstraction layer is pretty sugar heavy. So code, I'm gonna look in here, and I would imagine this goes in the override on after render, because this is the only time we can really guarantee that we have JavaScript. And I don't know why every time I do this, it'd probably be on after render async. So this needs to be async task on after render async. And then we'll paste in their code here. Oh, actually, it doesn't say anything about async. I thought it was an await of some sort in here, but it doesn't look like it. Now, why is this lighting up? I have the wrong protection level. All right, so protected override void. Unread notification count. This is part of a larger example. So we're gonna change it up a little bit. While it was a good example, it's very out of context in the manner that they posted it. Steven says, "Are you using the new Razor editor?" I need to confirm that. Or is it in preview? Preview. Environment. Preview features. I'm going to go back one step. If you do not know about this in Visual Studio, you're missing out. Search bar is the best thing ever to happen to Visual Studio. There's too many things going on in here to remember where they all live. So I'm looking into the question that Stephen Kramer just asked. He said, are you using the new Blazor editor feature? And all of the new stuff, the bleeding edge stuff, is under a preview. So a preview features tab. So if I type in preview in my search bar, I get a search result of environment preview features, and I don't have to go navigate to where this lives. So no, I am not using it. So enable experimental Blazor editor requires restart. Go ahead and click that. Is there anything else I want to enable here? Code spaces, don't really care about that. Enable all IntelliCode features. Sure, let's do IntelliCode. And ML Model Builder, we'll go ahead and check that in case I want to tinker with it. Support publish. We'll leave GitHub out of this for now. And I'll hit OK. And then I need to save my assembly here and restart. Restart that. So we'll try that out, Steven. So my chat bot is now my chat bot is telling me that it is holding back a post from my music bot. So my chat bot's moderating my music bot. That's fun. It's simply a rights thing. The rights for playing music in the stream is that it posts the link in chat, and my bot was squashing that. The things you run into with live streaming. All right, so I can close that tab, and I need. Where did my Visual Studio icon go? Here, we'll just click there. So preview is opening back up. This time we are in bleeding edge Blazor land. So I don't know what my expectations here are. Right, so it is slowly coming online here. It's still doing stuff. Load pending. It's probably installing some stuff, so we'll give it a second. The first version didn't work so well, Stephen Kramer says, but the last preview they updated and claimed to fix stuff. We'll see. So IntelliCode customization. There's some oddities going on here. Boy, what's going on with the coloring? Do y'all see that? So my title is blue, but my title closing tag is purple. So what's going on there? I have no idea. Yeah. It looks like I'm getting IntelliSense for the HTML title. And then the closing tag is getting lit up as a Blazor component. So it's conflicted. F12 is supposed to work now? What does F12 even do? Am I being a total noob? Like, what does F12 do? I don't know what F12 is. I haven't pressed it, it didn't do anything. Oh, take you to the reference. So if I hit F12, I guess I don't have, let me try survey prompt. Oh, look at that, it did work. So I pressed F12 while I was highlighting survey prompt and it jumped to it. You can do the same thing if you do go to definition. What about peak? Oh, I like that. I like that. Look at that. Peak works. Ooh, nice. Okay, so I'll forgive them on the coloring until they fix it because I have peak now. So let's see if my render... so first thing I need to do, if I don't want an infinite loop here, is I need to throw an if statement in here. If tab. Oh, it doesn't like that. So yeah, this isn't working, my friend. Oh, you know what? I goofed up majorly. So that code example they showed in here, I'm putting it in the wrong place. I didn't realize it had HTML in it. So that's on me. That's on me. It doesn't belong in on after render at all. You can actually just throw it straight here. What? Where did that come from? I just got a music note emoji. Like, where did... Y'all see that? What is happening? Is Visual Studio trolling me? What is this? What is that? I didn't type that. I did not type that. What is happening here? What? Alrighty then. That's fun. Where the heck did it get that from? Alright, so this fixes the IntelliSense issue I just had. Like, I was putting HTML in the code block. No wonder it was confused. It's just as confused as I am. So the value is going to be set here. How did I even do that? I have no idea. I was moving some code around. Oops. Wrong button. I was moving code around with Alt up and down, I think. Which doesn't seem to be working now. So I was doing this. And all of a sudden it just popped a music note inside of that. I mean, you can type emojis, but I've never seen the music note emoji ever. Like, is this what it typed? No, that's not even the same one. I mean, we could put those in our code. That's fun. Let's take a selfie. Yeah, let's make that our title. Let's make that our title. And then if I rerun the page, we've gone off the rails already, and we've only been at this an hour. Boom! Look at I love it. It works. It's fantastic. Ah! Extreme close-up. All right. So there's our title. So we have it. We've got a new follower as well. So thanks for the follow, Gerwintig. I can't pronounce that. Gerwentbug. I'll just say thank you. Thank you for following. So the title works if we just plop the title in any code block here. So this is nice. I would probably myself put this up at the top of the page like so. Before like any of the other HTML here. Stop it. Put it right there. And then if you want to do any binding to it, code, we could have, let's drop the survey, and we could say button on click. We'll put some method here. So we can change the title through a button click if we do void so we'll call it set title. Being overtly sarcastic there for a minute. Let's see. So I need a field. Let's throw some more emojis because they're fun. If you don't know, window key period is emoji town right there. So just throw a ninja cat in a space costume. I don't know what the heck that even's supposed to be. We'll do cats, all the cats. Throw all the cats in there. And we now have cats. And that is going to be... Wait, let's do this first. That is the new title. This is the default title. So music and selfies is the initial value. And then title equals that. And we're getting exceptions like crazy in here. And then we will just say at title. Like that. And I'm missing a semicolon. Now I should be able to run it. I'll check that in a second, Steven. I just saw your thing there before I ran it. So I've got music notes and a selfie, and if I hit title, now I have cats. So now I have cats, if you didn't see that. I have cat emojis, and that was set by an on-click event. So I didn't have to write a single line of JavaScript to do that, so that is awesome. So if I remove the quotes around set title, it should still work. So that'll still work. And I can even hover over it, and it tells me it's working here. Those, it's still valid syntax, so it's not going to change anything. Can I hit F12 from set title in the code block? F12? Here, let's try this one. Not only can we do that, we can do a peek, and it's going to pull up that line below. So yeah, that works too. I kind of expected that one, I think. Now, we have our emoji cats. What else can we do here? It's very simple stuff so far. I like it. So I have title. Oh, wow, it just updated the colors. I don't know why it updated the colors, but it finally highlighted those in red. That's weird. Let's see, what else can we do here? I could set the title, but what I really want to do, let's do something fun. I have Bootstrap min CSS. Let's do something with that. Let's see if I can attack the CSS values here. So let's do this. Let's go to boot swatch. Go to boot swatch. And we'll get Cyborg. Is there a CDN for this one? I don't see a CDN for it. Download. So we downloaded that bootmin here, showing folder, and I'm going to rename it. You can't see me renaming it, but I'm renaming it dark min CSS. And I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go back to my project. So I've downloaded that, I've renamed it, and I'm going to paste it right there. And excuse me for a moment. Just double checking to make sure that the kid's school isn't calling, and it's not. So now I have a dark theme. So let's go back up to this part of our app. We'll say link. What type of values do I have in link? That's what I want to know. Link, rel icon, href. So I think what's happening here, and I like this, is this link is a it's using attribute splatting. So any link attributes should be valid, is what I'm assuming. So I could say link source equals bootstrap dash dark dot min dot css, like that. And this is going to be self-closing, I believe. Let's look at the HTML real quick. So what we're going to do is we'll be adding a link. It needs the rel style sheet. Like that. Not sure how I'd provide a toggle here, but we'll look at it and see what happens. So let's just load this and see if it does anything at all. It did not. Let's look at our head of our application and see what it did there. Hey, Chad, Tail Learn to Code. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you here. So, the head of the app. We're supposed to be changing the link. So I did add... Oh, I don't have the right path, so that's why it's not doing anything. Y'all didn't catch that. Neither did I. It should be CSS/bootstrap. Yeah. So let's try that. Let's kill these tabs too while we're at it. Let's get rid of those. Chad and new people in the chat room. Now that you've joined the show midstream, we are playing around with the .NET 5 bits for Blazor. So this is all new stuff that's coming out in November. So we're playing with those. Oops, and I'm fat fingering everything here. Link, Blazor ID. It comes. I wonder if we can find that ID as well. That'd be interesting to know. CSS. Oh, my path is still wrong. My pathing. Bootstrap / We'll save that. We'll try running it again. And still no dark theme. It should override, in my opinion. If the pathing is correct, it should override. So one way we can check to see if this is actually in my application where it belongs, we can say copy link address. We're going to paste this up in the bar here. And if I get a 404, I know it's not being hit, but we're hitting it. So the path is correct. It has the right path. So why is it not rendering the CSS? This should be a dark theme here. Look in the network tab, see if it downloaded the resource. It's a good idea. Let's do this. We'll do empty cache hard reload. It's not loading that CSS file. It's not loading that CSS file. Do I have it linked correctly? Is it source? I think it's source, right? Or is it href? I did it wrong. It's href. I always do that with... So JavaScript is source. Links are href. And I always mess that up. And I've been doing this for like 20 some years. Like, when am I going to learn that link is href? When? When is that going to happen? I want to blame Chad, but that just wouldn't be right. It's not his fault. 20 more years. Yeah, maybe in 20 more years. Ah, look. It blew up like half the app, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So it did replace the resource, which is kind of cool. Let's try something else. Let's do this. What if I want... So it gives it... what if I wanted to change an existing link? How would I do this? I wonder if I would have to do... Okay, so let's try something. Let's add a new class. We'll call it theme state.cs. Okay, so I have my theme state. I'm trying to think of this in the terms of Blazor instead of JavaScript. In JavaScript, we go find the link, we get the, maybe by ID, something like that. We'd get it, we'd modify it, and that would be the DOM change. So this is going to be my Blazor approach instead. Prop, tab, string equals theme path. And then This is going to be kind of a dumbed down version we can expand upon. I'm going to remove Bootstrap min CSS from here. This does pose a problem, I believe. So app CSS is also roped into this. Anything that I'm rendering here, I think is going to end up coming down to the bottom. So there's a little bit of an issue. If I am using any Blazor-y things, they all get injected here. So with CSS, the override mechanism here is going to be in play, and it is going to override any app CSS and any scope styles that are in there. And if there are any app CSS styles that are overriding something in Bootstrap min, they will not be applied. So app CSS, what I'm going to do here instead is, let's do this. We will combine all of this into a single file instead. So this will be import. And then we'll open some tabs here. We'll say Bootstrap dark. And then what we'll also need to do is say, I'm trying to think how I will go about all of this. No, doing this wrong. Let's leave that one alone. Have app CSS. Let's add another one. Add new item. CSS. Curious Drive, I'll get to that in a sec. Yeah, go ahead and log that on GitHub. I took out some of the JavaScript interrupt stuff, and I might have missed something. So go ahead and log that, and I'll fix it. So there is a culture, local, what is it called? Local storage bits that I moved around, and I must have lost track of something. So what I'll do is I'll call this the light theme. It's going to be light CSS. And I will take the light CSS will do and import URL. Import URL. Jeez. And this will have CSS app CSS in it. I'll duplicate that line, and it will also have, in the proper order, Bootstrap light theme, like that. So I now I have the proper order of operations there. That's my light theme, and then I can copy it. Actually, let's move this to the CSS level. Yes, I know it's going to screw things up. Think that'll work. Set. Yeah, that'll work. And then I want to duplicate this. Control C, Control V, and this will be dark. So what this is going to do is always maintain the proper CSS order so cascading works as intended. If otherwise, it would mess up my cascading values. So I have dark, and I have light. And I have app, and it always goes below whichever Bootstrap theme I chose. And then I could have different versions of that as well. I got some pathing still I'm working on here. So some reason it didn't save that right. Okay. Save that file. So these things should work happily now, and I can close that. I have my state manager, and I'm going to remove now the app CSS. I think I want to add this one as well. So I'll take this one and I'll put that in there too. Duplicate that line, add that. So these are more like configuration files for my CSS now. But the end result, it should go fetch all of the CSS that makes up the light or the dark theme and keep all of the references in the correct order. So when Blazor goes into the head of the document and tries to inject the file, it doesn't screw up the order of my links. Now, I'm curious to see when this actually takes place. We should probably put something in the main layout, in the very first thing that gets loaded here. And we would then have a link here that is going to handle the initial theme. We may get what is called a flash of unstyled application when this happens. We'll see. And instead of this string, we are going to set that string to something that we haven't defined yet. So I want to go to program CS, and then in here, I'm going to say builder.services.add scoped, and then we will call this a theme state like that. So we'll add in our theme state, and our theme state needs a default value. We'll set that theme state to, this is going to be CSS / light CSS, like that. And then in my main layout, I will have an inject statement. Let's see, what is this theme state called? Theme path. There it is, theme path. So we'll say in the link here, we'll say theme.theme path. And since it's a string, I need to escape it like that. So my link now gets set up here in the main layout. Let's try running the app and see what kind of chaos we created. And there is the flash of unstyled application, and it never gets styled at all for some reason. Is it a path issue again? Let's see. Yeah, something's not right there. I don't have my link from the main layout anywhere. That's odd. So my main layout did not render a link. Why would that be? Interesting. Thanks for following Twitch NYC 2020. Appreciate the follow. I'm confused. Why? Let me go to my index page real quick and remove this value for a moment. In my main layout, I have the link set, but nothing happened. Not a thing. Why would that be? Let's see if there's any console errors. There is. So there's a 404, so something is not loading. What was it? Network. Let's try empty cache, hard reload. Scoped style CSS did not load. I may not have had one. Let's try taking that out temporarily, because this may be the problem we're facing. So I don't have a scope style, therefore nothing gets built. And then the app tries to fetch it, and the whole thing, just like a house of cards, falls apart. Not the issue. Let's try this again. Empty cache. Empty cache, hard reload. Console says everything loaded fine. Network says everything loaded fine. I even have a bootstrap min CSS and a light CSS loaded here. And because I see bootstrap min CSS, I know that this is fetching the right thing. And it has app CSS as well. So the only place in my code that I've referenced that is in that link tab, or tag. But it's not rendered. There's no link rendered. Why? Why is that? So, does the link component not work in a main layout? That's interesting. Very interesting. So what if I take it? I need my DI. Just to make sure this theme path is coming out. Let's do this as well. Whoops. Take the theme path. I'll write it out to the screen. Just want to make sure that we cover all our bases before I start ripping this out. So the theme path works. That's actually really interesting, though. So let me close this all the way out again. I'm going to take out that. And then let me reiterate this just for my own purposes here. The only thing in this application that knows where to find the CSS resources is that link that I just put here. So where is the browser getting that information from? Where is this happening? It's getting it. It's downloading it. It doesn't seem to be applying it anywhere. Oh, there it goes. There's the link this time. Oh, it's rendering it there. Look at that. So it's in the body. That didn't happen before, did it? It's in the body. It should be here. In the head of the app. Well, my. Is that a bug? Did we just find a bug? Last time, I believe it rendered in the right location, did it not? What if I'm going to take this out. This could be like a component lifecycle issue. Rip this out from here. If I have to do this on every page, it's useless. I might as well go write the JavaScript. Index page. We'll drop this code back here. Scoot that up a little bit. Here, go ahead and put that. It doesn't matter what order those are in. Yikes, that's not good. No, it didn't work here either. Did not work here either. So if I look at the elements on the page, the link is in the right place this time. The link is definitely in the right place. And it's rel style sheet. And if I copy the link address, paste it here, it's getting the information that it should. So the path is good. Path is good. Why is my app not styled? Why is my app not styled? Bit at a loss as to what's happened, why it doesn't work. I have a link in the right location. It has the correct pathing. Network tab says I've got the resources to do it, yet nothing is rendered. Does the link need a closing tag? Oh, look at that. No, it doesn't. It's self-closing tag. Did they not self-close? It's not proper HTML? It's rendering it, by the way. I'm not rendering it myself. So Blazor is the one responsible for creating the tag completion there. So I don't think that's it. Let's try edit as HTML. Just to make sure we'll close that tag. I don't think that's it though, because this is all generated for me. Now, the browser even took that off. The browser's like, nope, this is just a tag with no end. Does the same thing for base. Title has an end tag. Link doesn't. Script always has to have an end tag. But link doesn't. What if I take off the ID? Is the ID something that... I don't think so, because... No. Very strange. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So it worked from the page originally, but it needed... Yeah, so that it didn't care about. We'll stick that back this way. Yeah, so if we go to our index page, and let's set a default here. Link href equals light CSS. We'll save it and run it. So we'll have at least... Really? Okay, so maybe there's something wrong with my import. My import isn't working. Light CSS at import. Maybe these, even though it's fetching the resources, it seems like the pathing isn't happy. So these should be relative paths. And when we use this, OpenIconic seems to work. So why is app not working? And why is Bootstrap not working? Let me go back again. Yeah, the semicolon is there. The format seems to be okay. It's really not happy with that though. It's really, really not happy. It's not loading anything. Path all looks correct to me. Thanks for the follow, Top Swag Code. Doesn't need to open the OpenIonic folder. I'm using OpenIonic in this in the menus, so it should. It is using OpenIonic, and it's not successful on that either. But it looks. Ugh, I keep clicking the other one. It fell off the rails here momentarily, so none of the style sheets are rendering correctly, or maybe it's in the. Maybe it is rendering correctly, it's just in the wrong order. That could be. Type. So it's there. Something else has gone awry. Oh, I think I might know what this is. I think they may have changed something here. Hang on. Let me look at this real quick. If I look at my main layout, I got it. I found it. I found the bug. So this is a new feature. So here's the problem. It has to do with that framework generated CSS file. So how do I get back to that? I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to open another instance. I know what this is. Give me a moment and I will explain, I promise. Create a new project. Blazor app. It has to do with the CSS isolation feature they just added to Blazor. All right, this is fun. I like it. I like it. I know what it's doing now. In the index HTML on this brand new app, I couldn't remember what the... Okay, this is missing in my app. I took it out because it said it couldn't find it. I assumed I had none. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. So in HTML, or the index page, I need this. I'm going to remove this light CSS. I need this though. Underscore framework scoped styles.css. You'll notice there isn't that file anywhere, but look, this is a new feature they added. This is in the notes that I was looking at earlier. Let's take a zoom over here, see what's going on. I was getting the CSS linked correctly. What I was missing was the inline or the managed CSS, the isolated CSS from the components that make up the layout. So they snuck that in. I thought there weren't any changes in the template. They did make some changes. They did CSS isolation in here. So the page and the nav menu, their CSS code comes from the files that are nested underneath of the Razor files. Do you guys see this? See that nesting? Boom, there's the CSS for main layout. There's the CSS for nav menu. These get magically inserted into framework scoped styles.css. So these files over here on this side, these CSS files magically get balled up and rendered inside of that right there. I was missing those because I took this out. Now, it's weird because it was getting a 404 on this. And I'm wondering if my path was incorrect now. So let's loop back a little bit here. Originally, I had taken this and I put it in my light and dark. And it belongs down here like that. However, my path is incorrect, I think, because it is not underscore framework scope style CSS. It is slash framework scope style CSS, because without the slash, it is actually looking for, it would be looking under the same location as like www-root slash like CSS or wherever this lives. So when I append that slash or prepend that slash to framework, it should now be able to find it. And then I can go up here and paste in this guy. And now in my main layout, I can add back this code. And I can also remove it from this page. So in main layout, I will simply say, go ahead and use the default theme state, hit Control F5, cross our fingers, and boom, hey, look, we have the default theme back. Now, let's do some more fun with this. And let's put in, let's control it from the page initially. Oops, I'm in the wrong app. Sorry, I had the wrong window open. Go to the index page, and instead of setting the title, we'll leave that there though. So setting the title, say set theme. And we will say void. Actually, we don't even need that much code. We don't need a method for this. Let's not make this any harder than it has to be. To inject theme, theme state as theme. And then when we click our button, when we click this button, we will say, why is it removing stuff? Don't remove that. I wanted that. Theme state is theme dot. I'm not getting IntelliSense anymore. I broke it. I broke it. I need my at. My at, or it doesn't understand what I'm doing. Theme dot. Oh, it still doesn't work. Let's drop some quotes. Help the compiler a little bit. Theme dot. Uh-oh. I sense a crash coming. Stuff it. When I click the button, I would like the theme theme.path to be equal to, yeah, it doesn't, the new Blazor compiler does not like that. So theme path is going to be CSS/dark. Let's try that. Oh, it failed. Does not like that. Cannot implicitly convert type bool to system.threading.task. Excuse me. Say what now? Let's try this. We'll throw an unused variable at it. No. Why doesn't it like that? I like it. Why it should like it too. Let's do this. Set theme. Just trying to be simple here. I don't know if I'm typing it wrong, or the compiler's getting it wrong, or it's just a big hot mess. But it doesn't work, so we'll do it this way. Like that, and we want the theme dot. What are you not happy with this time? Theme dot theme path equals dark theme. All right. Build. Succeeded. Without any IntelliSense help. Set theme, and we got no dice. I know what it is. I know what it is. I think I know what it is anyway. Okay, IntelliCode. Okay. I get it. I'm good. All right, go away. Let's try this. When in doubt, throw a state has changed at it. So I changed a value from outside the normal behaviors of the system. No, actually, I shouldn't need that. I have a button click handling it. Let's see if there's an error. There's no error. Let's look at the head. I don't have... What? Okay, what's in scope styles? Is this... That is only the things that are defined there. I'm confused. Oh, I see what it's doing again. Really? Why is it sticking the link down here in the app tag again? Has it lost its mind? Has it lost its mind? It does not like that theme tag in there. Let's try moving it back here again. And see what happens. I don't want it at the page level. It's going to make me mad if it puts it at the page level. So I think I found a bug. I did. Okay. I'm gonna file this as a bug, I think. No, I don't need to tell the client to update the screen because the button click does that. The button click... no, actually, you're right. There might be something there, but hang on, because let's try something else here. I'm gonna undo that change. It's not state has changed here that I need to call. It'd be state has changed on the layout that I'd have to call. So let's put this back here real quick. But let's look at something first. Before I even hit set theme, it's not rendering in the right place. That does not belong there. So here's an issue. This is actually something that probably needs to be filed. So when I put the link on a main layout, it renders in the wrong location. This belongs here, not in the body. This is not the right place for this to be. So that's just improper. Now, the mechanism that updates that link, I may need to say something in here about it, like public action on change. And then I need to tie it to... I need to do a state has changed. I probably need to fire state has changed in here on the component that the link resides on. But regardless of that, so I think you may be right, Melandu. This, I would have to say theme dot invoke state has changed here, and I would have to I'd have to invoke the state has changed event for the main layout. However, it's still rendering in the wrong location, and I need to figure out why that is. If I simply move this link to a page level, like index, not index, wrong index, index.razor, if I put it here, and we'll ignore this pseudocode of what it should have been, you'll notice that the link renders no longer in the app tag, but in the head tag where it belonged. So I still have the old version and the new version up. If I put them side by side, you'll see the rendering difference. So if I scoot this over, One is creating improper HTML. So depending on where I use my link tag, the one on the right puts it at the page level and it's in the head. The one on the left I put at the layout level and it rendered in the app tag. You see that? Here's the app tag that's empty of links here. Notice it put it in the right location on that one. If I take my annotations off, you'll see this line where it says Blazor injected links will go here. It's empty below, and on the right-hand side, it has them. Yeah, I agree. Dwayne, I agree with that sentiment about I wish you could have different handles on Twitch for different things. I don't think they thought of that when Twitch was formed. Like, people would be doing kind of different personas for depending on what they were interested in. So I think we finally broke it. It is a beta, but let's go take a look at... I mean, I'm probably pushing the limits of what they intended to do with this, but I just broke it. So if I go to ASP.NET Core and go to issues, I'm going to say link in here. Let's see how many issues come up. 299 are open. Link. Let's try the word Blazor with it. I don't think this has been found yet. So they actually, the bug isn't that I'm trying to do too much with the idea of swapping the theme. It's just that flat out doesn't work with layout pages. Doesn't work with layout components. So I need to figure out how I'd like to file this bug. This is definitely a bug to me. Yeah, I don't know what to call this either. Let's see what happens if I put title. Let's take title out of here. And I'm going to put the title in the main layout and see what that does. Title does not exist in the current context because... Is that why it... Oh! I think I figured it out. Wow. All right, let's see. This is gonna blow your mind. I think I figured the problem out. Guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a bug fix. We have a bug fix. At least part of it. There may be another state has changed issue that we need to address, but I think I've figured out what's happening here. Let's build. Build succeeded, and I need to take that out. And then we'll build one more time, just to make sure it's all good. All right, so the first check we need to do is, did my link render in the proper location? Inside of my app tag, I no longer have a link. Ooh, I have this though. What is that? Head, type tag, tag link, attribute, href. That's a weird one. So it puts a commented HTML or JSON string in there. That's odd. I wonder if that's used by the framework to keep tabs on this. It's in the right location now. So what did I do differently? This is going to catch people. It caught me. It's going to catch everybody else too. I guarantee it. I guarantee this catches everyone that touches this thing. Watch this. So, first of all, did anybody catch what I actually did to fix it? Let me know if you saw it, because this one surprises me. I just did something to change the main layout that fixed the bug. It was very dead simple, and it totally flew under my radar. Did you guys see it? Being awful quiet, chat room. Now's not the time to be quiet. Let me know how insane this is. All right. So here's the thing. I figured this out when I moved the title. So what was happening is, in my HTML, it was rendering the link not in the head, but in the body of the app tag. Why? Well, there's a little bit of a conflict here. So if I'm in my main layout and I have a link, link is a valid HTML tag. If I remove this using statement, if I remove that using statement, the link is now just an HTML tag. Nothing more than a regular HTML link. It is rendered in place as is where it was found by Blazor. If I add a using statement to the top, it is now a component. The link is now a component that Blazor understands needs to be rendered in the head of the application. So whether this using statement is present or it isn't determines where that link is rendered in the page. Does that make sense? I'm not getting an error here because link is a valid HTML element. It's actually just rendering that. It doesn't really care about the capitalization. I didn't catch it because there's no IntelliSense here letting me know. I don't know if it's the Razor compiler that's doing it. Let's try this. Let me see if this helps me catch it. I'm going to take that preview feature out. I can move the using to the imports. Now that makes another interesting problem, and we'll have to test that in a minute. I'm going to take this experimental editor off just for a second and see if the highlights come up for this, because this is going to make me mental. Load the preview bits again. Wow. I can't believe I burned time on that. All right, so now the old school one is picking this up. It is purple. Notice the colorization. It's purple. It knows it's a component because there's a using statement. I pull that out, it's now red, and it's no longer a component. It's just HTML now. And it's highlighting it and saying, look, I'm even getting a warning message on this version of the engine. Come on, let me highlight this. The link element allows authors to link their document to other resources. Found markup element with an unexpected name link. If this is intended to be a component, add a using directive for its namespace. Just that little red underscore and that hint would have saved me like 20 minutes of fooling around with this, trying to figure out why it didn't work. The new Blazor editor has some more ground to cover before it is gonna take over. I'm glad they're doing it. It'll be nice when it's done. I don't want to get caught in the middle of it though. That's not a good error to hit. So yes, I did want that using statement because that determines where that link actually ends up. And now it'll work fine. When I added the title tag, it did figure that was an error because you never put a title tag there. It totally blew up on that one. So that's what tipped me off to even look for this. So now that I have it rendering in the correct location in the DOM, let's take a look and see if we can click our button set theme and if it does anything. And I think it's not. My guess is it will not. And that's going to be a life cycle component life cycle issue. Stop popping up. The little pop-up tab kept coming up here. I don't want to disconnect my other screen. That would be terrible. All right, I clicked it. Nothing happened. I think the value is probably set, but not reflecting here. So here's what we need to do. I need to get this set up correctly. So I need something that will invoke state has changed, and I need to do it this way. Public action invoke state has changed, and then no, wait, sorry. This is going to be a void invoke state has changed. This method will simply call another method for us. That method needs to be set here. So it's going to be a public action equals parent. Come on. So we have an action, and this needs to be get set. And then we will just say parent state has changed dot invoke. May need to do invoke async. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. And then on can't I put that in the setter of the theme path property? We could probably trigger it that way. Let's take a look. We'll get there. Let's go back to main layout. And then when we get this code equals on override on initialized. We'll override the initialization method. And we'll say theme dot parent state has changed equals this dot, I don't even need this, state has changed. So we need to change the state of our container. And why is that blowing up? Cannot be system.action. Because why? Because action has no return value. Why can't I set that as... Oh, I don't want the result of it. I don't want to execute it. I want to set a reference to it. So I can do that. And then on here, I can invoke it. Inaccessible due to the protection level. Okay. Let's just see if this works, and then we can kind of dial it back a little bit with Marcus's suggestion. Click, and boom, it works. So it worked because it's going to the parent component and invoking its state has changed method. So to Marcus's point, what we could probably do, let's see, we can convert this. Convert to full property. So I'm going to let my tooling help me a little bit here. So I made this a full property. Oops, that's the wrong one. I did the wrong one. I want the theme path. I'm going to say, this is like kind of a little MVVM pattern-ish thing to do. I want to say, when I set this value, I'm going to follow that up by not just setting it, but I will also call the parent state has changed after it. And I can even do a little safety thing here. I can say if parent state has changed dot has I thought there was a has method. Is it not a nullable thing? We'll just do that. We will just do that right here instead. And I'd probably want to do it after I set the value. That would make more sense. Not before I set the value. So we'll just go ahead and roll that into settings. Anytime I set it, we'll invoke it. And then, right, Marcus? We should be able to do that. Thanks for the follow, PD9608. And then, oh, I need to remove that line of code so it's automated. Boom. So that workflow is built into just setting the value. And if I click set theme, it immediately does the trick. Thank you, Marcus, voiceover programmer. That cleaned that up. Very cool. We could even go as far as probably to encapsulate this link into its own component, and that would automatically hook it into a life cycle that could find that state has changed on its own. I'm not going to go that far today. I just wanted to see if this was a possibility. But I could probably even refactor that piece of it out, or not refactor it out so much as obscure it from the end user so they don't see it happening. And then Automod is going to get me banned from the Pretzel Rocks service if it keeps muting my copyright text that it's putting out. All right. So that worked. We didn't get to CSS encapsulation so much, but we saw where it takes place. So what you can do now is you can add CSS directly to a component. This is nice. I'll just talk about it for a minute. I won't go dig into it too much. This is nice because it will exclude CSS that we're not using. So, for example, let's put something under counter. Maybe this isn't good. No, because it's used in the app. Let's create a component that's not used in the app. So I'll say Razor component. Let's see if this does what it says it does. Razor component. never used .razor. So if I have a component I never use, and I add a new item, we'll call this CSS here, style sheet, is going to be never used .razor.css. And notice it put a file underneath. So I have never used .razor, and underneath it has never used Razor CSS. And I put a bunch of code in here. Let's grab, I'm just going to grab all the stuff from the main, and we'll drop that in there. It's all redundant styles that we'll pretend it's all new stuff though. Here, let's change some stuff here. Let's say .never used .page, just so it looks like new HTML or new CSS code. We'll drop a couple of these in here, just so we have something to look for later when this gets pulled up. And I think that's good enough. We'll take the medias out of there. It's just pseudocode as far as I'm concerned. It's just there to prove a point, hopefully. Hopefully this does what it's supposed to do. So if I never use this component, but it has CSS files defined for it, and I hit Control F5, and I go to my app, and I inspect the page, and then I go to my head of my page, and I've got this framework scoped styles CSS. I'm going to go ahead and copy the link for it and see what it's generated for me. And there's my never used. Ugh. I think this is the point of the idea, right? Is so you don't drop CSS in your project that you never take advantage of. So I guess if I never use it in my app, then it shouldn't be in my project? I don't know. I thought if you didn't use it, that's when it injected it. It's not scanning my application to see if I actually make use of this component. But if I exclude it from my project, then the Razor or the CSS goes away. I guess that's a baby step in the right direction. And then that CSS is now no longer part of my app. Whereas if I had it in my CSS code, it would be difficult for me to find. Oh, I still have a reference here. There, that went away. When I removed the component code from my application, it went away. I would rather it scan the app and see if it's used. I guess dynamically, if it gets added, that might be hard to figure out. It does give you some type of way to organize your CSS code, though. I like that you have options. Personally, I'd probably just use Sass, or like I have here. I can do the same thing manually with the import statement. So, yeah, I mean, you can already do these things. It's just giving you a convention by which to do it in the framework, which is nice, because not everybody follows these other types of best practices. For me, I just use Sass and then comment out the thing I don't want in the application. So it's already isolated for me. I don't need the framework to hold my hand and do it for me, but it's if it's at the framework level, it's more discoverable for people that aren't doing it the right way to begin with, and then we have more people building software better. So good for them. Good for them for adding that in there. I don't know what else they'll add to that. Yeah, it's automatically adding it. So Elliot Brand is talking about in chat here that surprised about it being automatically added for easy organization, but then maybe there's some way to bundle and minify. So I'm going to close out the show here in just a minute, but we'll look again. All I have to do is look here. it's not minified in any way. Like, it's just... Is my browser... I don't think my browser is expanding this for me. It's like this, literally like this. It's as is. It's not minified in any way, shape, or form. And it's auto-generated for me, so I don't really have any control over how that is created. Maybe that will come, or maybe if you don't like that feature and you want to handle it yourself with a bundler and minifier, what you do is you go in here and delete this line of code, and then you go with your bundler and minifier and say, go ahead and look through the app, because you can do with Webpack or any of the simple JavaScript tools that you can find. What you can do is just tell it to go look for these CSS files. So there's like a scanning thing in Webpack. File. You can configure like a wildcard path for it. And you could say there's, here's where to go find all those CSS files, and then let Webpack just bundle and minify those. I just did, Elliot. So unless we're not talking about the same thing, I just disabled. To enable and disable this feature, all you do is remove it, like that. We might be out of sync a little bit too. I know the video on Twitch runs a little bit ahead of the chat comments, but I'm pretty sure this is what you meant. Like, we can just yank that out and that feature's gone. And then you can use whatever third-party thing. Yeah, you can use whatever third-party thing at this point to do the same functionality, but with your own parameters on how you want to handle the styles. And then there was a suggestion about how to handle Sass, and what they were doing is they were just giving a Sass file here, and then having the Sass compiler drop a Sass file underneath, or CSS file underneath, with the same naming convention. I don't like that myself. If I'm going to use Sass, I'm not going to bother with this nonsense. I'm going to go through just like I did with my dark theme, and I'm just going to set up a Sass file like that, and then if I have, I could just say import foo dot, you don't even need to name it, but it'd be foo.scss, like that. And if I don't use that component in my project anymore, I just do this, and that component is now gone from my CSS. So I personally probably just use Sass, but like I said, not everybody uses it. People asked for this feature a lot because it's hard in a big application. It's hard to maintain all the CSS code that goes into every component, and then when you remove stuff, you get legacy CSS floating around. And quite frankly, I would assume that most people's CSS setup at the end of the day looks like this, like 10,000 lines of CSS code that does everything. And that's not how the Bootstrap framework is built. It's modularized already. But I would imagine there's a lot of people that just have like one big file that they try to manage, and it's a nightmare. So I understand where this comes from. I'm just not personally a user of it. So cool thing it's there. Not super handy for me, but everybody else might get some mileage out of it. Pretty cool stuff. I like that they're listening to the community and building things that other people want, even if it's not something that I personally need. good community feedback that they got. All right, it is getting late here. I'm gonna go ahead and raid. I covered a little bit of the .NET 5 preview stuff, not quite as much as I'd like to have. I got stuck on that one little error that was totally my fault. It was just missing a using statement. So, missing using statement, and then the new Blazor compiler just didn't quite catch it. I'm going to go ahead and raid Coding Garden. Coding Garden is doing a, like, I don't know, insane, like, 8-hour stream or something. So let's go ahead and join. Coding Garden raided my channel a few weeks ago. We're going to go ahead and raid back. Return the favor. So make sure you say hi. And see what Coding Garden is talking about. It was great having you all on the show and in the chat room. Thanks for the new follows and the new subscribers. There's a couple of those today. I think I called out the new subs, and I think I caught all the followers as well, even though I had a little bit of a technical glitch at the beginning of the show. Evan, again, thanks for the sub. And Palin, thanks for the sub. Or Palin. P. Allen? I don't know. I'm sorry with the names. I do my best. But thank you very much. Appreciate you all being here for the show, and we'll explore some more stuff next week. Not sure what the topic will be yet. And then there's also some talks of doing another Blazor show on the Code It Live channel each week. We're determining the day and time still, but it will be an AMA type of show. I'll just come online and you guys ask me anything and I will try to answer it. We can do all sorts of fun stuff there. So we'll announce that pretty soon. We're working on it. We'll see you then. Let's say hi to Code Garden.